Well, it's Tuesday at 4 o'clock, and after months of climbing, we've seen friends and foes alike succumb to the attitude and altitude, and now only 2 quarterbacks have survived. Oh, it's chilly. But the mountain always has a surprise in store. Whether an icy crevasse or an even colder take, come with me as we finally near the peak of Mahomes. I did it wrong again. Mahomes Mountain.
Well done, Kevin.
Well, not really.
I mean,
I made a mistake in it.
Yeah, we're pressed for time, couldn't do a second take, didn't want to do it.
The Gen Z loves it real.
Oh, okay, no problem. Is that what you learned trying to chase down Mr. Beast on YouTube? Yeah. All right, so we have kind of dueling mountains here. Of course, for the postseason, there are only 2 quarterbacks left. And to no one's surprise, Patrick Mahomes remains atop the mountain. To a lot of people's surprise, Brock Purdy continues to ascend. Reveal the mountain. What? What is so funny?
Who is vacant? Who is that?
There's any time
is that the
been
silhouette
an empty
of who
spot,
Purdy vanquished?
No, it's just it's not left to right, Brew.
It's totally. I got a source on your committee, Nick.
There is not a committee.
Tomorrow.
There is not a committee.
All right, that's all right.
It's just
because you know
Mahomes
what?
at the top.
I wouldn't be surprised if the Niners have a board.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
I
that's
wouldn't be surprised. I'm just saying.
So that is this, the final playoff edition of Mahomes Mountain. There's not a lot of intrigue. There's not a lot of debate. Even people who would say Brock Purdy might one day be Drew Brees, but not Hall of Famer, top 15 all time, but Drew Brees, would not argue that Brock Purdy is better than Patrick Mahomes. So now we look to the all-time mountain, the 10 greatest quarterbacks of all time, and there is one person yet for Patrick Mahomes to chase down. Our colleague and friend who was just on with Colin Cowherd 2.5 hours ago, the unquestionable GOAT right now, Tom Brady.
True.
So much like a marathon, you can't win it 5 miles in, 6 miles in, but the question is, what pace are you on? So let's look at it. We all know the numbers for Patrick are going to far outstrip early Brady. That's not going to sway anyone, but it should be noted how dramatic those numbers truly are. 85 yards per game more, even a better win percentage for the quarterback wins group, far better touchdown interception ratio, and a passer rating that's up 15 points. But what about in the postseason, which is what Brady was known for? Again, through 6 years in the postseason, it is more of the same. While the record is closer, it is still in Mahomes' favor. From completion percentage, far better. Again, all the statistics will really favor Patrick Mahomes. But then there is what made Brady Brady. It is the rings and the volume of team accomplishments that he literally quarterbacked. So this is what is so intriguing. As we sit here today, Patrick Mahomes is ahead of the pace.
Pretty good.
In everything. Right. He goes to a Super Bowl, or he wins a Super Bowl more often, barely. Goes to a Super Bowl more often by a substantial margin, and of course has never not been to a conference championship game. But what if, Brew, Mahomes wins in 2 weeks? What would that pace then look like? Now we're talking about way ahead of the pace. He would then all of a sudden have won 50% of his seasons. Brady's numbers, of course, stay the same, while Mahomes' Super Bowl win is what jumps up to where he wins the Super Bowl in half of their seasons. To be fair, for both of these guys, we are not counting their rookie seasons when they did not play. So for both these guys, it's from year 2 onward. And then again, if they were to win, Brew, how would Mahomes' first 6 years stack up with Tom's first 13 years? So the statistics, we know what they are. And amazingly, Mahomes will already have matched almost game for game what Tom did the first 13 years of his career. He also has already matched him for MVPs for the first 13 years of his career, as Tom won his third in 2017, year 17 for him. So with all that said, the question I posit to you and to the group is, right now, if they win a week from Sunday, does Mahomes become a favorite to be considered the greatest quarterback of all time? Does he become the betting favorite, more likely than not, that he is considered the greatest quarterback ever?
I think yes. Now, right now, I would have Montana 2, or I have Montana 2. I've got Mahomes 3, Manning 4.
And the mountain obviously doesn't have a discernment because it's not left to right. Mahomes and Montana, they're just on the same level.
If Mahomes wins this Super Bowl, I move him ahead of Montana. Now, Montana will have 4. Mahomes will have 3. But as you said, individually, he's been more of a phenom than Montana was. All right. Brady, you're right. I mean, he's way ahead of Brady's pace. There's no question. Nobody would argue Brady individually was better than Mahomes early in their career. Their first Super Bowl runs. Brady didn't even win his first MVP until 2007. So that's a few years after their first little dynasty. Yep. And he was first team All-Pro 2007. That was the first time after the first dynasty. So I think Mahomes, here's a little wrinkle. No team has ever won 3 straight. So if Mahomes wins a three-peat, now I know that's saying a lot, but if they win it this year and then they win it next year and they have the first three-peat in NFL history, I think a lot of people, I don't know if it's a majority, but I think a good number of people will say at 4, just because he had the first three-peat and how dominant he's been individually, they would say he's old. I don't think I would go there, but I think 5. I've always said 5 is what he needs. And if you got 5 with a three-peat, or even if there's no three-peat, if you have 5 in 10 years, because Brady, like you said, his first 13 years he only had 3. Yeah. If you have 5 in 10 years, then I think almost everyone would start to say at that point he is.
And
the
coach,
GOAT.
just quick.
And coach, I gotta say one last thing.
Yeah.
I cannot see Patrick Mahomes having a 10-year stretch while he's still in his prime without winning a Super Bowl. I just can't see it at this point.
Good. No, I was just going to say, when Bruce pointed about if he were to three-peat and get to 4, a lot of smart people believe that once you have 4 championships, you're in any GOAT conversation, that it's not about counting rings. That's cross-sport.
Football,
a lot of people believe that.
Not really basketball.
No, go ahead.
So just to respond to one point that you made, Brew, about the MVPs and how long it took him, I think he suffered from what Brock Purdy's going through, because he was a 6th-round draft pick versus Mahomes, who was a 1st-round draft pick. People had a hard time giving him the credit that he deserved. But how many Super Bowls did Tom win total? Was
7.
Seven. Oh, it was 7 Super Bowls. So I don't know if Mahomes is going to have the longevity that Tom had. And I think that's the first issue for Patrick Mahomes, because a big part of his game is his ability to run. And when you look at the difference between him and Tom, okay, so Tom, during the course of his career, he rushed for 807 times in 23 years for a 1.2-yard average. That wasn't important to him. Okay, so as he got older, it didn't become a factor in his success. Where with Mahomes, we all know his mobility and his ability to generate plays outside the pocket is key to his success. So I think that's going to be the first issue that'll prevent him from overcoming Tom. Okay, so that's and here's the second thing. Tom won faster. Okay, Tom won faster. And as much as you want to jerry-rig the first 7 seasons, let's look at. Okay, so here's the first 4 seasons, right? So in his first 4 seasons, how many Super Bowls did he win, Tom?
Tom in his first 4, 3.
3 Super Bowls. How many did Patrick win?
2.
Okay, so he won quicker,
no.
right?
In
So
Patrick's first 4, he only won 1. Sorry.
Oh, and how many Tom win?
What? He won 3.
And Patrick won 1. Okay, so he won quicker. So we can stretch it out over 7 years to help the narrative, but the reality is he won 3 in his first 4 years, and Patrick won 1. So that's part of it. Now let's look at him head-to-head. Okay, let's look at him head-to-head. So how can we compare? How can we better compare than in big moments how they played head-to-head? So the conference championship, Tom won. The Super Bowl, Tom won. So for you to say that he's better, he beat him head-to-head, he won quicker, and odds are he's going to Patrick will never be able to sustain the success.
So let's talk about this last thing. So the one quicker to me is totally irrelevant. Because
of course it is, because it doesn't fit your narrative.
No. Because, let me ask. So, Coach, would you be swayed if Patrick wins this year and in 2 years? If he gets to 4, 8 years faster than Tom did, will that sway you at all?
I think when he gets to 7, we'll have a real conversation.
Right. So
then we'll start talking about him being the greatest.
So to my point,
will he win with another team too?
Hold on. To my point, well, I doubt the Chiefs are to get rid of him. But to my point, Coach, you're not worried about the speed if Patrick does it faster. Because if you're right, Tom got to 3 faster, but if Patrick gets to 4 faster, you won't care about that anymore. So let's talk about the head-to-head.
He has 3 to 1 in his first 4 years.
I understand, and and I'm asking you if Mahomes gets to 4 to 3 in his first 8, will that matter? I think it won't, but the head-to-head matters to a lot of people.
That's going to be
that to me is worth discussing.
Because Brady was in his 40s as well. That's
So that to me is
end of his career.
But I don't.
Still better.
Okay, so hold on. I think most people would expect. Do we still think Tom Brady with the second to last year in the Patriots was in his prime? I do. He had won league MVP in 2017. He won league MVP in 2017. He beat Mahomes in 2018. So here's
what I would say to that, Nick. I did think at that point in his career, Brady was starting to have trouble carrying the average receiver.
Okay, well he won league MVP the year before. No, his longevity is not questioned. Oh. But the numbers coach put up about the head-to-head matchups are wildly misleading. So the Super Bowl, yeah. Oh, because I'll show you. Here's the AFC title game. No, don't. That's the two games put together. Show us the AFC title game that Tom Brady won, if we could. If anybody watched that game and felt like Tom Brady outplayed Patrick Mahomes, they're lying to you. Now, I give him credit, and he won. They won the coin toss. The Chiefs didn't ask for the rules to be changed like Buffalo did. He never got the ball. And the only reason that's 2 interceptions and not 3, of course, is the D Ford offsides. And so the point I'm making is people look at the 2-0 as dispositive. I don't think anyone can intellectually be honest and say D Ford lining up on or offside should have a tangible impact on the GOAT debate. But if he doesn't, they're 1-1.
That's the only play that happened the whole game.
No, that's a detail that's going to be forgotten.
That's fine. And so that if we want to argue that, so that then leads me to the question: is it dead? Because if it is, we have a very different type of Tom Brady discussion, which is he's lost in the playoffs. He has a losing record to Peyton. Does anyone care? He's 0-2 to Eli. Does anyone care? I'm just curious. If 2-0.
Well, I think they would care if those guys also had more Super Bowls.
5 Super Bowls.
If they'd won faster than Tom. So Tom won head-to-head. He won faster. He's won more. But yet
the one faster part to me is it is not to me relevant that Mahomes won MVPs faster. I'm not worried about Tom winning the Super Bowls faster. If we're talking about the width and breadth of their career. But do you think it is impossible? Do you think it's impossible? Because he's 0-2.
To pass?
Yeah, because he's 0-2. Because Brady retired.
But I think the two hardest things for him to overcome, I mean, getting to 7 is obviously the key. But I think the head-to-head, which is something Brady supporters are going to be able to stick on. And then also, Mahomes went to a team that was good already. They had 11 wins the year before. Brady went to a team that was... No, when you nitpick when you get into these discussions...
Can I say something?
The Patriots weren't good.
There's a 5 Super Bowl gap. We don't need to get down with our microscopes.
I'm saying when Mahomes gets to 5 or maybe catches, I think he's got a chance to catch.
When he gets to 5, he'll still be a full Hall of Fame career behind.
At 5.
It will be a discussion. I'll be sitting here and be like, you know what? He's still 2 Super Bowls behind. It's how many he has now. If he gets to 5, that'll be the gap. Wow. I know it's like
I think
so. I'm a simpleton up here.
This is why Wild has always said Bill Russell is the greatest basketball player ever.
Did they play in the same era?
What?
Did Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady play in the same era?
Oh yes, I'm sorry. I thought you were saying Bill Russell. Yeah,
Tom beat him head-to-head twice.
Yeah. Okay. So it's over.
Moment.
So then it doesn't.
Bill Russell and Michael Jordan were playing.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.